Hello Virgo, hello and welcome into your general tarot card reading for the 3rd week of September. So, let's begin. This card is representing you. There's what is crossing you. This one is showing the undercurrent, something that's underneath. Sometimes the root of the things. This is representing your near past, and this is representing your way of thinking. This one is representing what is your near future of things that come in your way. This card is representing what to focus on, and this is suggestion of on the best possible way of approach. And this one, it's our additional commentary. So Virgo, let's see, what do we have here? You being represented by King of Wands. What is crossing you is Ten of Swords. What is beneath you is the Emperor. What is your near past is the Knight of Pentacles. Your way of thinking is the Sun. What's your near future? Ten of Wands. Things to focus on this week. Six of Swords. And the suggested best way forward is Five of Swords. So there you go. This is very interesting reading because it's a lot of backwards and forwards. It's a lot of struggle. It feels to me that what you want, what you need, what you think you should do, they're not really aligned. So your way of thinking is, and you're being represented by the King of Wands, and King of Wands is representing kind of completion, practicality. But in this particular reading, the way how it's said, it's looking towards your recent past. So you might be waiting for things coming to fruition because there is a Knight of Pentacles over here. And things that might be not coming quick enough. And there might be some kind of difficulties in terms of getting things off the ground, things moving forward. Even though ball is kind of rolling, the indication over here, Virgo, is you might be not helping the situation, and what is required of you to help situation a little bit. And because you might be too, in this particular case, you might be too passive because you're hoping for best. You almost like waiting things going to happen for you or to you. The indication is you have to do something. You have to help your own fortune and your own luck to come your way. Because you're hoping for the best. There is the Sun, underneath is Emperor, so you might be too... What is coming across that you might be too rigid. You need kind of more flexibility. It's almost... it's not to say you are too... Yeah, I'm hearing about open up to new possibilities, new way of doing things, exploring new ways. If something hasn't worked before, hasn't worked for a very good reason, and what is coming through Virgo, you need to deploy, or you have to find a new way of doing things, because the things how they have been done before, they haven't worked, and I guess that's why the Ten of Swords is crossing you, because for whatever reason you haven't noticed or you haven't realized that your certain behaviors or certain decisions or certain ways how you deal with things, that they're not longer conducive, they're not longer serving you. And what the cards, the overall that they try to tell you, try to change your way of dealing with things, with life, with the way how you perceive things. And that requires some kind of action. I'm hearing action or change. You have to kind of deploy different ways of managing things. But because what they're showing this kind of tendency of waiting for things to come your way. It almost feels like you're starting something and you're kind of getting things moving. Then you're kind of waiting for this to come, so it's almost like you become extremely still. And then all of a sudden, when nothing is happening, then you might go into the frenzy and try to do everything at once. And it's describing some kind of behavior that is not helping you. It's almost start, stop. And yet, and I love the Sun over here, because Sun is such a beautiful card in terms of the way how you think. You might be, I don't want to say it but I will. You might be too naive, that there's some kind of naivety there, and you might have high hopes, but this is all about seeing things, seeing the mechanism, being practical and pragmatic, and be able to change your way of approach, changing your perception, your way of perceiving, and adjusting to the situation. And maybe the adjusting to the situation is not necessarily yet, maybe you don't see the mechanism behind certain things happening in your life, and they're urging you to look into it. They're urging you to look into, because the slight feeling of defeat or things that are not working out, the indication over here is that you are focusing on taking control by removing yourself from situation. And the question is that the right thing to do? And then the best way forward is to understand and realize when problem is arising, is to understand when something becomes problematic, what is the root of the problem, what is the kind of trigger point for this, because this is about not seeing the pattern and not realizing when you are not, it's missed reaction. I don't know how to explain, but your reaction is misplaced, or is either, it's if I don't know how to, but it's like a mechanism that is not triggered at the right point. You might be not realizing, because you might be hoping for the best, and I can understand it, I can see it, but the best way forward is to kind of nip things in the bud before they're going to become problematic, before they're going to become a problem, because taking an approach of managing everything at once, and you see you have a Ten of Swords and you have Ten of Wands here twice, and then we have those Six of Swords, so it's almost, it feels like up and down, and down in terms of the way of thinking. It's almost black and white, even though you're very hopeful and you're hoping for the best, and there might be a couple of things here, and I'm going to tell you what they're telling me, so I'm just going to go with the flow. So you might be not patient enough, that's for one, and they try to tell you something about the patience over here. Try to understand, you might not listening to advice whenever it's given to you, and you might be so, your logic, basically your analytical side of you, it's sometimes is failing you, because you might become very stern and very, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost not defensive but unwilling to consider different ways. It's either things are coming my way or not, I'm not going to chase them. But this is not about chasing. This is about maximizing your opportunities. And there is something that haven't worked before, and there's something that is, it's almost like you're looping, because the same thing is happening, maybe not the same, but the same pattern is occurring. And they say, you might be burying yourself in work, you might be trying to do everything at once, and you might have a tendency to control or over control. But what they say, try to understand the trigger here, the mechanism, the pattern, and nip it in the bud before it's going to grow into something bigger. That is the overall message for you, Virgo, for this week. So what's additional commentary? There are things they're not seeing, and presumably you don't see the entirety of the situation. You are, for whatever reason, you are unable to get to understand the mechanism. You might not see it. It's you don't see how this is happening, and what is that? Because you're not learning from your past experience. The overall message over here, Virgo, is to learn from the past experience, to see, examine your past. And you know, some people, they say the best predictor of the future behavior is the past behavior. So there's something within your past that that if you're going to look into it, you're going to see some kind of pattern, and they asking you to at least consider to look into it and see what it is that is not, it's standing in your way. It's standing in your way, and they say nip it in the bud whenever possible, before you're going to, it's going to take you on that kind of journey, because that has to be kind of exhausting in terms of this stop and start. So Virgo, that is the overall reading. It comes across as a message, actually, so I would like to say a massive thank you for tuning. I wish you an amazing week, and you take care. Bye.